this season of the ISU Short Track World Tour. There is the schedule. It is Repechage Saturday as we get set to complete the fields for this afternoon's World Tour session when they will race for the medals. As always, on Repechage Saturday, we will have the men's 1,500-meter repechage quarters and semis, the women's 1,000-meter repechage semifinals, and the men's 500-meter repechage quarterfinals and semifinals. And then we will break for almost 2 hours, and then we will be back for the afternoon session on this penultimate day on the Short Track World Tour. I'd say 2025/26, but we're all getting it done in 2025 this year. Of course, that event happening in Milan in February forces a bit of a change in the schedule. Getting back to 6 stops next year perhaps, but we shall see what the schedule holds. Gavin Day here. Alongside me is Tyler Dara. Tyler is going to be nursing his voice a little bit through this morning session to be as in good condition as possible for the afternoon. I can certainly relate. Last year, if you watched the World Championships, I was scrapping through the weekend with a voice that was barely hanging on. And, Tyler, you're sitting next to me, so I can just talk to you. I finally watched the beginnings of that repechage session that I did not call on the Sunday that you took over, and you said some nice things, and I really appreciate that. And so Tyler will chime in when there's anything that particularly catches his attention. These repechage races last weekend in Gdansk, when I was alongside Catherine Reuter-Adamek, provided some excellent, exciting fodder to watch. A couple of races in the women's 1,000. I think both the semifinals were decided by a matter of a handful of thousandths of a second. And so when it's the case of Crystal Globe standing points, Olympic qualification quota points, skaters are going to be scrapping for every single spot they can on the ice. A look at our first heat about set to go on. It will be the men's repechage 1,500-meter quarterfinals. They're not out there just yet. We're just over a minute and a half away from getting into action, and I'm just scrolling through the heats that we have. We have 10 on offer, just the winner of each race and up to 4 fastest second place skaters qualify for the repechage semifinals. There you have heat number 1. We'll have Nurtolek Kashgali of the Kazakh Nomads, Rio Ong of the Singapore Gazelles, Roberts Kruzbergs of the Latvian Golden Stars, Furkan Akar of the Turkish Anatolian Pars, Rafael Moret, the Swiss Ibex, Lucas McDonald of the New Zealand Ice Kias, and then a second Latvian Golden Star, Maris Janis Sternmanis. Bit of an earlier start today. Those of you who have been joining us the last 2 days in qualifying, we've been getting a bit of a later start, and so a little bit more bleary-eyed this morning. A couple of us on the crew actually headed off last night in a stadium nearby, home of FC Dordrecht, and we got to soak in a little local culture. The home side going down 2-1 to defeat to a side from Utrecht. But good evening. Nice to get out and experience the host cities. I always like to think cities and countries host these events for a reason, and I try to explore the area as much as I can to get the local color. The skaters are out on the ice. There is a look at Lucas McDonald, the lone ice Kia on the World Tour this season. And so just taking a look at this one, we do have a do not start. That is Sternmanis of the Latvian Golden Stars, and so it will be 6 skaters on the line. Of course, keep an eye out for Kruzbergs. There is Moret of the Swiss Ibex.
Go, start. Ready.
Speaking of that Swiss program, just like many programs just trying to find their footing and take off, the big a big stepping stone is first getting kids to see the sport, see how fun and exciting it is, and then convincing them, yeah, you can get out there too and join it. And so the hope of these broadcasts is that it's more accessible to fans just to see how exciting this sport can be. And so in the hopes in the next 4-year cycle that the Swiss is one of a number of programs that can start to build up, and we can add to the growing depth of this sport. And it's Kreuzberg's. Once he decides he wants to stay on the front, he is very difficult to dislodge, but look out for, in the gray helmet, Furkan Akar, one of those skaters who we often see close to some of the best in the 500 meters, and he's making progress. But the longer this race goes, keep an eye for Akar to perhaps drop the hammer when the time comes. But it's Kreuzberg's, Kajgali, and Akar right now, as Akar just meanders his way forward to tuck behind the big Latvian. Does a lot of training with the Polish team.
Well, it's not too often that we see Kreuzberg's going through the repechage. He's one of our higher ranked skaters, so making a longer day for him to try to make his way through to that World Tour final.
It is the 24-year-old out of Ventspils, which is west of Riga, right on the Baltic Sea. And now Akar hits the gas. And riding the accelerator, Kreuzberg sitting behind him, 1 and 2. Kajgali also hanging around as it's really split apart the field. And at the bell, Kreuzberg's on the inside, takes the lead from Akar. Akar stumbles, and that opens the door for Kajgali to get up into second, as it's Roberts Kreuzberg's who will take our first race of the day. As Tyler mentioned, there always seems to be a couple of the skaters who we're used to seeing on the World Tour session who don't have the race they like in the earlier rounds, but that's why there is this repechage, and he starts to set things right and get himself 1 foot back into the World Tour portion. Of course, the 1500, that will begin this afternoon with the semifinals right away. And so repechage semifinals, we'll see a couple of skaters, just the race winners, going through into the semis to make the total field of 21. There will be 3 heats of 7, barring any advancements to add extra numbers to the line. But a good win from Kreuzberg's, taking care of business.
Well, some big names just stepped out onto the ice for this next race.
I'll say so. We'll just run through here. We have Steven Dubois, ranked number 6 in the world in this distance. Brandon Kim of the USA Eagles, Laitsai Huan Chen, Yaroslav Morozov, Wara Noiron, Lu Jian Shuo, always a tricky figure to deal with, as you see the results from the previous heat. And then Luca Speckenhauser, a guy who's not been deployed as often this weekend, but he is out here in the repechage quarterfinals. And there you have it. In position number 1 is number 6 in the world. Position number 7 is number 7 in the world. And we'll see, Laitsai Huan Chen, we'll see if he likes to take it out, try to launch something here.
Start. Ready.
He does jump to the front, but he's not flying off the front. So in the early laps, when there's not much pace, you wouldn't think they would be going for those fastest times, but this one is getting up to speed pretty quickly.
Well, when you have the depth that this race does, Brandon Kim, Steven Dubois, Lucas Speckenhauser, with a 1+ advancement times, you start to think you maybe want to push it a little bit. They're not going too quick, but already the low 10. So if they start to accelerate the pace within the next few laps, they could still put up a pretty solid time that could allow the second place finisher to get through.
is Speckenhauser on the front. A lot of that Italian program from northern Italy, up in the mountains close to the borders with Austria or Liechtenstein, and so with them hosting the games in just a few months, a lot of them are going to be very close to home. Although tickets for short track are always difficult. I remember chatting with Pietro Sigo. He was saying some of his family members were struggling to get them. And 4 go together. Oh, wow. And you don't often see that. Speckenhauser is one of them. He's up on his feet. Dubois, I think, was involved but stayed on his skates. And that'll get reviewed. That is not something we often see. It is Lu Jianshuo of the Hong Kong Ice Chillins on the front right now. Well then.
Well, we had multiple. Sorry.
Hang in there. And watching for Dubois. Kim in a very good position. He has Dubois behind him. Now, what energy did Steven Dubois burn getting through all of that? He is up into third, but there is a gap. And now Lou and Kim really driving the pace. They will get the bell. Dubois, never count him out. There's still a lot of work to do. Brandon Kim paying attention to the surging ice maple behind him, but Lu Jianshuo will take it. And Brandon Kim will get second, I believe. And yeah, Lou, another fist pump. He did very well in the 1,000 yesterday and emerges unscathed after all of that. We'll see what kind of review that leads to and if there is a possible advancement coming from there. So just waiting for the time to be made official. Just all kicked off at one point.
Well, multiple skaters trying to pass at the same time. Here's another look at that replay. Steven Dubois going up the inside. Shoulder to shoulder to shoulder there.
Wow.
Yeah. 4. Steven Dubois is trying to make the quick inside pass. Well, that's where it all started. But then there was a defense put up by Lightside, trying to block that inside, hug it. Morozov on the outside shoulder. Speckenhauser outside of that.
So what is looking at, it is actually Lightside Wan Chen. And since it was 3 guys at the front with him, we are looking at a possible advancement of 3 skaters. Something that I have not seen, at least this season. Last season, it's been a while. But when you have 4 guys there all at the front, all in that potential advancement position, one false move, you could see a bunch of guys advanced. And so that would mean Dubois, Morozov, and Speckenhauser all potentially getting into the repechage semifinals. And for a guy like Morozov, a Ukrainian skater, getting into the repechage semifinals is an opportunity there. And there it is. Changing lane from outside to in is what's possible, causing the collision with Dubois right there. And then he gets bumped back out, and the chain of dominoes gets set off there. And a shrug from Dubois.
Well, you can see the shift of Lightside coming across to defend that position, block out Steven Dubois' pass, pinch him off. That stopped him from getting by. It would have probably been a little bit cleaner execution had Lightside not made that block. So we will wait the official decision, but Lu Jianshuo still a phenomenal race. He still had to, hold off Brandon Kim charging and Steven Dubois following up at the end of the race. They put up a quicker time than the first one.
The presence of mind to be aware that not only Kim was behind him, Dubois was also there. And yes, to the ice we go.
Final decision, penalty, number 141, Chinese Taipei. Advancement, number 17, Italy. Number 4, Canada, and number 148, Ukraine.
There you go, everybody thinking get to the front if something happens. Look at this, here we go. Lane change outside to in. So he's crossing there, and a bit more there. And then once Dubois squeezed him out, off they all go. So
that's a rare occurrence to have 3, because usually it's only the top 2 skaters, but they were shoulder to shoulder, all 3 skaters in the top 2 positions.
And so what that means is now that there's only one possible second place advancement. That's Brandon Kim currently. a 2:17.003. Thumbs up or thumbs down? Has that one got a shot?
Well, the time has a shot, but we've already chewed up all those advancements, so there's still more racing to come. I don't know if the time will stand, unfortunately, for Brandon Kim.
All it takes is one more advancement, and we still have all the way until 10 heats. As Benson O'Grady, Simon Bastier, Raphael Schlosserek, Mieta Shogo, Wara Van Dam, Asen Gudov, Jakob Karabin. And so a rooster, a nice bear, a nice deer, a falcon, a wolf, a ninja, and a king. And right now it is the Bulgarian king, Asen Gudov, on the front.
I would just say that the next racers are all aware that there was just 3 advancements. They're going to be thinking, okay, I can't rely on time anymore. That would be the only thing working in favor of Brandon Kim right now, that his time could stand, because these races won't push for time. However, they'll go slower at the start like they are right now, and they will finish with some intensity, which often leads to more collisions, more contacts, and then more possible advancements.
So his nerves will not be soothed whenever Brandon Kim sees a slow start, because he'll have in the back of my mind there could always be something that sets it all off, and now it really is picking up. Wara Van Dam, everybody perhaps seeing the last race, just reinforcing the get to the front, and if something does happen, you will be in that position to be advanced. And so buckle up. Here we go, inside 7 to go. It's Wara Van Dam on the front. Another one of the speed skating families. Frey Van Dam, his younger brother, has skated on World Tour before. Nogradi in second, and then Gudov, and Nogradi winding it up on the outside. Van Dam defending for now, and still not around. Nogradi wasting a lot of time and energy getting to the front. Now he does, and he surges ahead, but there are 3 to go, and he gets a bit of a gap. Simon Bastier trying to close. Mieta Shogo, I think I missed announcing his name off the start. Another one of those guys is, you're here? But now he's taking it very seriously. Mieta with a great move on the outside. And a quick check through the legs, chance to maybe ease it back a little bit. Mieta Shogo gets through nicely.
Well, Mieta Shogo, an absolute stealth ninja in that race. We weren't even mentioning his name earlier there. He was just kind of sitting in the back, waiting in the wing for his opportunity to strike. I like the patience. He knew he had the legs. A little bit riskier when you're trying to get around people going that quickly, but when you have the strength and speed that Shogo has, you can get it done. And well executed there, not overexpending any energy, saving it for the later rounds.
He does get through, and there are going to be some heavy hitters in that repechage semifinals, and so those could be some really interesting races coming up, but we still have a bunch to get through here. Just looking at the second place time, Benson Nogradi, 1:22.82, or sorry, 2:20. Where am I reading that from?
I don't know.
2:26.829. That won't be fast enough. Brandon Kim still sitting, watching. He survived the first test, but still we have heats 4 all the way through 10. So he will be waiting a while yet. As you see the results, Mieta, the one skater going through. Heat number 4 sees Niall Tracy of the British Royals as perhaps the one to watch in this one. Nico Anderman out of Austria, Denis Aida-Petyan of the Uzbek Cobras, Zdenek Sepal of the Czech Ice Spiders, Tinius Rambo-Alma of the Norwegian Vikings, Daniel Eibog, the other Uzbek Cobra, and Martin Prantel of the Croatian Dalmatians. So we do often see in heats like this 2 skaters from the same country, but when Uzbekistan has 2 men entered, and both of them are in this heat.
Go. Start. Ready.
And it is Eibog up to the front. Do you know he can turn the pace quickly in the 5 or in the 1,000? He might be up there to try to slow this down as Martin Prentel gets up into third, and it is both of the Cobras sitting 1 and 2. Who's going to be the skater to try to break it up? While it is, the pace has not yet picked up.
But the pace is going pretty well. Already 10-0. We're still early. This may be... and
it is both the Cobras going in together.
Well, the coaches will be frustrated. When I first saw them together and the pace going a little bit higher, I thought perhaps they have a bit of a plan here. They're going to both lead it out, keep the pace high, work together to try to secure both going through. But that thought was quickly dismissed.
Although you look at that now, and that was at the front of the race, and so you could look to see maybe an advancement.
Yes.
Of Abog.
Very likely.
And it is Tracy on the front. So used to seeing that in his races. Anderman, a guy who likes to try to make the pass. But if Tracy keeps the pace high, it's going to be very difficult as the legs really start to fatigue. Bit of a separation now. Rumble Alma gritting the teeth, trying to stay close. And we come up to 3 to go. And now Tracy just picking up the tempo bit by bit. The progression, those in this sport call it, and Anderman just not able to keep contact. Just too much from Niall Tracy, really showing the strength he has. And now he just decides to go for a bit of a victory lap. Obviously can't lose the focus, but he will get to take a bit of a break over the line.
And it's a quick time, but as you pointed out, Gavin, very probable that we could see an advancement in this race.
You can see the quick start, as Tyler mentioned, but then the coming together of the two Cobras, and we'll get a look. It is a possible advancement for Daniel Ibog if there was an infraction. So these are going to be shaping up some very interesting repechage semifinals in just a little bit. They'll have the women's 1,000-meter repechage semifinals coming up, and then the 1,500-meter repechage semifinals for men. So they are just trying to take a look. As we look back on this one, Tracy, once on the front, that allowed him to just drive it bit by bit. Get the fatigue into those legs of his competitors more and more. As he skated off to victory. Is Palashkover, one of our referees, and it looks like decisions have been made. And here we go.
Final decision, penalty, number 152, Uzbekistan. Advancement, number 153, Uzbekistan.
And here you go, illegal late pass. Abog was on the front. Repechage just tried to barge his way through, but it was too late. Just as they entered the corner, Abog has nowhere to go, and his lane is squeezed off, and he goes down. So there is the penalty. And heat number 5 is on the ice, as you see the confirmed results. So that takes away the second place time. 3 of the 4 possible fastest second place times were wiped away in one heat alone, and then we've just lost the last one. And so the race is now just for first place skaters, barring any other advancements. Heat number 5, Rainis Berzins, Peter Riches, Robin Bendig, Tibor Komoritsky, Liam O'Brien, Luka Jasic, and Munk Erdenbeleg. Latvian Golden Star, British Royal, German Wolf, Slovenian Goldhorn, Irish Wolfhound, Serbian Owl, and Mongolian Saiga. So Berzins, the one to watch, the man from Riga. front. Riches is a skater who does like to lead as well, and now a lot of skaters sensing perhaps, hey, I've got to get to the front because you never know. There's been a big reshuffling, and now here comes Bendig, trying to be the latest to get to the front. So at what point does he start to pick it up? And Riches goes down. Oh, Jasic and Liam O'Brien had nowhere to go, and he gets knocked down. It's a pretty hard fall. They're bringing this one back. Just out of safety because O'Brien was spending a little time down on the ice. He had his arm almost across in the sign of shoulder/collarbone injury for a moment, but he's up, just shaken up. But they weren't at quite top speed, but if you'll see a replay of the fall, O'Brien was just picking it up, and then O'Brien had nowhere to go as he was starting to gain some speed, and so it was just a click of the blades between Jasic and Riches. Also possible contact from behind is what is being looked at, but there you go, there's a click. So O'Brien gets around Riches, he just can't get around Jasic. Just an awkward collision like that with two guys on the corner, and rather than risk a tough situation if there was another collision coming together already with skaters on that corner, and they just decided to bring it back. So all the skaters are going to get looked at, get their blades checked. All the skaters did get up on their own. But it was really just when the race was starting to get going that the collision happened, and for some of these skaters, Olympic qualifying is hanging in the balance, and so rather than risking further injury, as I mentioned, risking another collision on that corner with skaters already down and all that, we're gonna bring it back, go again. Looks like also the race was stopped as the padding had opened up there, so there was also some exposed floor, and again, safety paramount. One of the new safety guidelines is around the mats, of course, with the boardless system where there's more flex. There's no hard board like in a hockey boards for the mat to just get stopped suddenly into. There's also a guideline of having space around that track just in case. And it is amazing that these collisions happening at high speed, but there's so much safety equipment on the skaters. Those mats are pretty heavy duty as well, but we will see everybody come back to the start line. We're very happy to see, and so we will retake the beginning of this race. But a couple laps into the legs now, we'll see how the muscles are feeling.
Ready.
See, given they were already starting to put some hurt into those legs, see if anyone risks taking it up early, if someone flies off to see if they can't take advantage of tired legs, or if everybody's just got the same idea in mind, consolidate and save it for a dash to the finish in the final few laps. It is Liam O'Brien, the multilingual Irish wolfhound, lives in Korea. Oh, and he goes down, and Jasic again. And the frustration really evident now. I'm not sure if there was a click of the blades there, but O'Brien went down, and he took out Jasic with him. So a little snake bitten there. Seeing the same two guys. Frustration was obvious there. They are both up on their skates and are okay, but this one won't be brought back. And it is Berzins on the front, Bendig behind him, Erdenbeleg in third. And then Riches and Komarichki. So that will get a review. But also, I think it may just lead to nothing, as it was O'Brien falling, taking out Jasic, who unfortunately for him was not in an advancement position. And so both of them are latching back on. Just a chance to get a bit more racing into those legs. I wouldn't imagine they would try to jump for position when the battle is going in front of them. And now it is Riches winding it up on the outside. Fourth to third, but the tempo is picked up. Rainis Berzins is just driving it all right now. Riches has nowhere to go. Finally, he does get into second, but the legs are a bit more fatigued. And Berzins is on the front and away, one to go. And so in the redux of heat number 5, Rainis Berzins will get through and survives all the drama, and he will take the heat ahead of Riches, Komarichki and Bendig. But remember, just one spot going through, and that will be Rainis Berzins. And you see the video review has been cleared. Just an incident with the skater going down on his own, and then the skater behind him not in one of those advancement positions. Wrong place, wrong time, unfortunately. So we'll just wait to make those results official. And here it is. Maybe a tiny bit of contact with Bendig, but I'm not sure. They were both right there. We don't have that right angle, but yeah, and then Jasic in the wrong place. Getting through all of that. So he will move on, and the only skater moving on. Heat number 6. It's a race where there may not be someone far and away seated. It's not one of those races where there's one of those guys who, a Dubois or a Speckenhauser, who perhaps in unfamiliar territory. But you look at Nathan Thomas, who has animated some of the races he's been in. Number 54 is the top-seeded skater in this field. There's also Adil Galiakhmatov of the Kazakh Nomads, Erik Anderson of the Norwegian Vikings, Liu Shucheng of the Hong Kong Ice Chillins, Chon Lachart Taprom of the Thai Elephants, Su Junpeng of the Chinese Taipei Blue Magpies, the aforementioned Nathan Thomas of the Polish Hussars, and Adam Omar Asvar Aslan, the most alliterative name in short track out of Malaysia. There it is. Big fan of that kit. It's like the Malaysian flag. I know other sports, there's track cycling where there's almost a, I think it's an orange and black kind of design to look like a tiger. He has the flag wrapped around him. There is Nathan Thomas. Keep an eye for him. Polish Hussar in this race. The ice already taking a bit of punishment through the early going here in Dordrecht.
Position 4. Go. Start. Ready.
And it is Anderson off the front. A lot of these Norwegian skaters are either still in junior or just coming out of junior. Some of them still doing long track as well. We just have the one woman entered again, Hedvig Hilda, Paulina Klavstuen getting some racing in Gdansk next weekend. There's Gali Akhmatov, the experienced Kazakh nomad behind him, just keeping a look back, casting an eye back. Nathan Thomas of the Hussars in 5th. Canadian-born skater for the Hussars, but he, his mother came up to say hello to us in Gdansk, and they'll be celebrating Christmas here. The Hussars not really wanting skaters to do long transatlantic travel ahead of the Olympics, so he will celebrate with family here as opposed to heading back to seeing the Canadian side of the family. But now he's picking it up. Anderson really ramping it up, trying to shed some skaters. Aslan is off the back. Thomas had to settle back in as he was stuck on the outside. Gali Akhmatov on the front. Liu Shucheng getting up into 4th. Anderson trying to hang on. Thomas trying to pick up speed on the outside. Where's the opening coming? There's just so much traffic to get around at this stage of the game. Gali Akhmatov driving the tempo, skating everyone off his back. Anderson scrapping to hang on. Finally, Liu Shucheng gets up running and makes the move for the lead. Nice work by the Hong Kong Ice Chillins. He's going to try to join his teammate in the repechage semifinals. And so Hong Kong, China with a good couple of results in these skates. And Gali Akhmatov left to settle for silver. As we know, that won't be enough. Su Junpeng in 3rd. Pardon me, it was Anderson in 3rd and Su in 4th. And Tapram and Thomas spent a lot of time on the outside, couldn't find a place to tuck in, and got sort of shuffled to the back. But Liu Shucheng winning heat number 6. Had the task of getting around Anderson, and instead of just perhaps giving up the ghost of saying there's too much space up to Gali Akhmatov, he charged and then had the energy to make the pass. And so a couple good results for the Ice Chill inside. I don't know what that shake of the head means. We'll see if there's a thumbs up. Nice from Gali Akhmatov offering his congratulations. Are the results confirmed. Liu goes through as the only skater. 4 more heats to come. And remember, no more possible time advancements. So the only way through is by winning, or if you are the victim of some misfortune where you're on the right place on the ice. And so heat number 7, Hayashi Kosei. The one to watch here, Peter Yasipati of the Hungarian Falcons, Metehan Atan, the Turkish Anatolian Pars, Maxim Maximov of the Bulgarian Kings, Lucas Koo, the lone Brazilian Bluebird, Sean McAnuff of the Irish Wolfhounds, and Lucas Wareham of the Australian Racing Roos. There is McAnuff, originally out of Oakville, Ontario, does his living and training in Budapest.
Go, start. Ready.
And not the quickest of starts. This one might be the slowest we've had so far. Just watch for the Japanese ninja. Hayashi Kosei has won a medal on World Tour, the only one for the Japanese ninjas last season on an individual race, mind you. This time he would be the prohibitive favorite, the 22-year-old. It's always fun. You find their biographies, and there's, you know, birthplace, hometown, when they started skating. Sometimes there's one that just makes you chuckle. Under hobbies, Hayashi says drinking milk products. Does that count as a hobby? I guess so. Comes from a family. Parents both competed in short track and in long track. He focused on the short track after getting into high school, as I mentioned. Really one of those ones who's put forward some good results, the 22-year-old. But right now, Lucas Koo on the front. And now Hayashi, perhaps sensing the pace is getting too quick. He's trying to wind it up on the outside. That's a lot of energy burnt. Peter Yasapati dives up the inside into third. Hayashi now into fourth. Koo driving the tempo. Is he sensing that he's got the right makeup over the race right now? It is Koo and Maximov, 1 and 2. Watch out for Yasapati and Hayashi. There's still time in this one. Inside 4 to go. Atan up behind Hayashi now. And now Yasapati on the outside. Hayashi trying to follow him. They get around Maximov. And the same two trying their move around Koo. Hayashi dives up the inside. Oh, so quick, so smooth. Hayashi third to first. And now Yasapati trying to chase him, trying to find a move, but Hayashi times his energy expenditures just right and glides up for the victory. So there was a risk, a worry that there was some danger for him there, as the skaters around him were going very well, but Hayashi just times it so well.
Well, Hayashi just stayed so patient that race. He waited for his opportunity later. It was really slow start. We were expecting the fast finish. He stayed with it. There was a group of 4 there together as he was sitting in 4th position. Just timed it out, waiting for the skaters to kind of start to drop off their speed and then attack. Late with that double inside, beautifully executed.
Not sure what Koo was aware of, but he really drove the tempo. In the back of my mind, maybe thinking, okay, those guys who are maybe the favorites have traffic in the way, and so maybe I'll drive it away. But Hayashi, Yasapati really showed why they were the real seeded skaters in this race. But it is, there's the race for third.
Well, if you drive that pace up front, then you're hoping that there's that battle happening behind you in 2nd, 3rd, and 4th position, allowing you to skate a little bit more freely. They're getting held up, trying to battle with each other, and you can skate away with that race.
So there you go, Hayashi, the lone advancement. Man, those are going to be for some fun repechage semifinals. We've done so many races that you kind of forget who is in these repechage races until you see the start list, and then you're reminded, oh yeah. And then that just gets you even more excited. So that is all coming up shortly. We still have 3 races to go here. And some pretty top skaters as well. Zhang Bohao, the Chinese lungs, Jonathan Roskenbleck of the German Wolves, Felix Pigeon, again, another one of the Polish Hussars who's been putting up some good skates. Martin Kolens, the Croatian Dalmatians, Tobias Wolf of Austria, and then a pair of Ukrainian Wildcats, Timofey Kokelko and Oleg Hande.
Ready.
So Zhang Bohao is the top seeded skater in this distance, but I always like to watch a guy like Hande, who is never afraid to drive races. And he is now winding his way up to the front. He's on Zhang's shoulder right now as Roskenbleck leads. German Wolf side, a big relay result yesterday, getting into the semifinals, securing a top 8 position. There's still that glimmer of hope that they were on the outside of those top 8 spots in the men's relay. They, depending on how the chips fall, find themselves getting a good result that really just jumps them up. It is Kolens on the front. From Zagreb. And now here we go with Hande. Gets the hustle going. But Roskenbleck and Kolentz read the situation well. They both pick up their own tempo and keep him at bay for now. Of course, watch out for Pigeon and Zhang. 3-4-5. Some real good animating skaters. Not that the others are slouches by any measure. It is Hyundai going again. Pigeon trying to follow. He goes up the inside. Oh, Felix Pigeon with the move. As Hyundai went wide, he went in, and that got him to the lead. And now Zhang on the move, trying to get around Hyundai. Down goes Hyundai. And I think he might have towed in and just took out Zhang with him, but that allows Felix Pigeon the space he may need to go inside 2 to go. And that was not for the lead. Remember, we don't have time positions anymore. So the review dot hasn't come up on your screen, but of course they do. Take a look at that. There you go. It comes up now. But Felix Pigeon timed it right, got to the front, and then stayed away from all the drama that happened around him. Well then. Great move by Pigeon. I wonder if we'll get another move as Hyundai goes around the outside. Pigeon just, all the attention I think might have been focused on Hyundai, and Pigeon just used that to his advantage. And then let's see. Yeah, towed in. And then Zhang was in the wrong place. Fortunate for both of them. Not sure if Zhang speaks English, but that certainly looked like he knew one word anyway. Felix Pigeon just showing some great composure this season in his races, and he hops up there to take it. So they are looking at a possible advancement for Zhang, as they were in a battle for the lead overall, and so it is, of course, the officials' discretion. But Pigeon, just the latest skater to dive into what will be some pretty loaded 1,500-meter repechage semifinals. I'm building it up quite a bit, aren't I? They better come through. Yeah, the ice always part of the story. So many races it does get beat up, and there you go. There is the advancement. Zhang, he was battling for the lead, and so Pigeon goes through. Zhang also get advanced. So not only will there be some very loaded repechage semifinals in terms of talent, but on the start line as well. There'll be an extra skater there. And moving right along, 2 to go in the men's 1,500 quarterfinals. Mohamed Bozdag, Tariq Omoragic, Stefan Alexander Kumorjev, Li Wenlong, Frederick Pedersen, and Purapat Chiangmai. That man has been here all weekend long. Kudos. Such an international fan. There's some good Belgian support. There's good Korean support. You've seen Sean McAnuff and Liam O'Brien have some Irish support.
Start. Ready.
And what I found so cool is when we've had the students here the last few morning sessions on qualifying days, one of their message boards is still there, and while there is a Dutch line holding up a sign that says Netherlands, there are good luck messages written in a whole bunch of different languages, and so it's cool to see how perhaps some of the schools have made this a chance to, yes, watch some skating, but also learn about the world around them. We've seen on a lot of the hallways around the dressing rooms various messages of good luck, various flags drawn, colored. And this city, no stranger to hosting international short track, really making the most of the opportunity. The Dutch will also host the European Championships in January. That is in Tilburg, a race or a venue we know very well, having hosted the World Tour last year. I wonder how the Tilburg Trappers are doing, the hockey team that hosts that. There is a hockey team here as well, but it is Pedersen on the front. He did pick up a 30th place last week in Gdansk. I think it was in the 1500. And there is still that shot for a top 36 position. I have spoken a few times with Pedersen. Yeah, he's on the outside looking in right now. The Norwegian spot, mind you. You're not skating for the individual, you're skating for the team to get those spots qualified. And there's a bump. Oh boy. Everybody threw okay. Bosdag went down. He is grabbing his back a little bit there. So that sort of set everybody off. That will get reviewed. I think Pedersen was part of that bump. On the front now, though, it is Pudapat Chiangmai of the Thai Elephants. As Pedersen closes back up, watching Lee Wenlong, Tariq Omeragic, both coming together. Lee stays on his feet as Omeragic goes out wide. Let's see, is Pedersen going to try to launch a move? But Lee is just going to drive the pace so much. And so there will be two incidents to review there. And Lee will take the race ahead of Pedersen, but the story of this race is not done just yet. Bosdag, I was just watching, there was this Kumurjev, and he came together. There was a bump on the helmet, and everybody got through that okay, but Bosdag is grabbing his back. So here's the incident. That's the earlier start. There is Omeragic, Pedersen, shoulder to shoulder. Pedersen does have the left leg out there, and there's the bump, and yeah, Bosdag sort of landing right on the lower back there. And then this is the later incident with Lee and Omeragic coming together. One went out, one went in, and then they came together, and I think Lee might have been in front there, but we'll, of course, defer to those down below. And the first incident is a possible lane change from out to in. And that would have been on Fredrik Pedersen, going out to in on Kumurjev. Already, the drama mounts. Will we see some crowded start lines get even more crowded? Not sure if anyone was in an advancement position, but they might have been near it close enough that it was worth a look. And so our results getting punched in, and we will get the decisions momentarily.
Final decision, penalty number 124, Norway. Advancement number 81, Bulgaria.
So there you go. So there is the lane change outside to in on Pedersen. Kumurjev is advanced, and so this is it. Kumurjev was making the move alongside Pedersen, trying to get up the inside, and Pedersen just deferred to the inside a bit too much. That was his opinion on the matter. And so Kumurjev is advanced. Lee moving on, but I have no doubt Pedersen will be back. Heat number 10, Etienne Bastier, Theo Collins, Ivan Martinic, Ernestas Czech, Timeo Libo, and Radek Fajkus.
Ready.
So we will see what the two French roosters can do. Libo, mentioned it a few times, making his debut on World Tour. He's picked up a medal on the Junior World Cups this season. That was in Kazakhstan. They opened off the year. And Bastier making his debut on World Tour last year when we made the jump to Europe near the end of the season. Libaud's medal is in the 1500, but the games have begun here. Gives us time to say the short trackers are off after this weekend. The long trackers are back next weekend. They make the shift from North America to Europe. Heerenveen, the storied building, will host stop number 3 on the ISU Long Track World Cup circuit as they skate to Milano. Olympic qualifying very much on the line there as well. Racing will begin Friday. So check your time zones. And it is Faikus, the man with the inline background, hitting the front. Check behind him. Nice to see the addition of the second Baltic nation on the World Tour this season. Your move, Estonia. And Libaud now winding it up on the outside. And a Czech responding. And what you're doing, Libaud is burning a lot of his matches there. He does finally tuck into third. Long times on the outside, go through a lot of energy. Now Etienne Bastier's time. Let's see if he has better luck getting around the outside. He still has one to go. Faikus in front. Collins is chasing Bastier. Bastier, will he get there? Yes, he will. Collins trying to get around as well, but Bastier now trying to hold them off. He has 2 to go. And it's a nice move by Theo Collins up the inside. It's really a one-on-one battle now between Collins and Bastier. The 100 Years' War, make it a 2-lap war. And it will be Collins with a good result. Just getting around Bastier. He burned a lot of energy trying to get around the outside. Collins followed him for a lot of that. And he might have had just that little bit more in reserve to jump ahead of the French rooster. The age-long struggle of Great Britain against France. But a good result by Theo Collins to get into the repechage semifinal. We have sort of established where, missed that, we lost one skater in the race. I think it was Libaud in the end. But when you get into the repechage semifinal, yeah, you like that. You're at least in that top 36 position. Of course, we have a few extra skaters, and then with so many skaters on the line, even though only one skater from a heat likely goes into the semifinals, if you can get up for second and third in your heat, you have a lot of skaters behind you. So as repechage races go, that semifinal is a chance to make a big jump between, say, 32 and up to 25, 24 range. So we'll see them in just a little bit. That wraps up the men's 1500 meters. Those are going to be some good repechage semifinals coming up as you see the list of qualifiers. Some very big names, a lot of teammates. Or if they're together, that will create an interesting dynamic as well. And so we head into our ice resurface break, our first of the day. And when we come back, it will be repechage semifinals, but for the women's 1,000 meters. And so a lot on the line, some final, perhaps Olympic qualifying quota spots secured. So lots to watch for this morning. We'll see you on the other side in about 15 minutes from now. Racing lights back up here in Dordrecht in the Netherlands. Next block of racing, we have a quartet of repechage semifinals coming up. First up is the women's 1,000 meters. 2 heats, 5 skaters in each heat. Just the first placed skater will advance directly. Of course, fine print. There could always be advancements based on what happens in the races themselves. Heat number 1 already out on the ice and has some very, very talented skaters. Chae-Min Jeong, Valentina Asic, Rebecca Silitze-Nemeth, Dita Van Oorschot, and Gabriella Topolska. So Chae-Min Jeong having to go through the repechage here. The Korean-White Tiger, there she is. Valentina Asic of the Dalmatians, the Croatian Dalmatians. Silitze-Nemeth, the Hungarian Falcons. Dita Van Oorschot, the Dutch Lions, the first Dutch Lion we've seen. And Topolska of the Polish Hussars. Making her first A finals of the season. In Montreal, she picked up a 5th in 1,500 meter number 1 and 2. And a 7th in the 1,000.
Go to the start. Ready.
And it is Chae-Min Jeong off the front. Just a fantastic skater, world champion. Number of times in her career. She has Asic behind her. Silitze-Nemeth, Van Oorschot, and Topolska. Asic has really been on the ascendancy the last couple of years for the Croatian Dalmatians. Silitze-Nemeth capable skater as well. And so the pace really up in this one. Jae-Min Jung just driving it. Nobody has been shed off the back just yet, but passing just becomes that much more difficult. Such a strong skater. And just raise the tempo and keep raising it. Just incredible endurance and stamina. And now to Polska. Struggling to hang on a little bit. Van Oerschaut trying to get up into third, and she gets that two-stick. Good move on Silice Nemeth, but there's already one to go. Jae-Min Jung looking like she will just leave nothing to chance and take it ahead of Ashic and Van Oerschaut. So, of course, each place a skater moves up, even in this race, even if they don't advance, could prove to be invaluable with those Olympic ranking quota positions. We've said it quite a bit this season, and we'll say it again, but you're skating for your team's positions. You're not skating for the individual. Of course, when you have a smaller team with a handful of skaters, you are kind of skating for yourself, but you try to get your top 3 skaters into the top 32, whoever those skaters are, and then you have your own team to have your selection criteria to pick who gets those spots in February. But Jae-Min Jung right now has only eyes on getting into the World Tour this afternoon and getting onto the podium in the 1,000 meters. She is into the quarterfinals. Just a confident performance for her, never truly in jeopardy, never truly put under much pressure, just skated everyone off her. Heat number 2, another interesting one, has Ariana Fontana, Florence Brunel, Hyojin Kim, Katarina Buric, and Maya Somodi. Fontana, I think what was our first race on Thursday, fell, and so now he's having to come through the repechage, and difficult one beside her, Florence Brunel.
Ready.
Certainly an accomplished sprinter, and Buric, one of those skaters really on the bubble, and this makes me wonder, having seen that previous heat, is she trying to pick up the tempo early? So depending on how the finish goes, if she doesn't advance, her times would be above skaters in the other heat, which would mean a high result for her. And so Buric really driving this one right now. Fontana in second and Brunel in third. Kim, who had a 22nd last week in Gdansk, also gonna want to skate for another high position. Brunel trying to get around the outside. Fontana and her battling. That's the other advantage for Buric. Let the other skaters bat it out behind you, but now Brunel does hit the front. Fontana tucked into that slipstream, and it's a real battle for third. Buric defending tooth and nail, holding off 2 skaters behind her. Kim trying to go around the outside, and then up the inside. It is Somodi, but Brunel and Fontana battling. And so Florence Brunel, here comes Fontana looking on the outside. Will she try to dive inside? No, Brunel will hold her off. Ooh, that's close. Fontana decided to carry it around the outside and make a photo, and I'm not sure. I still think Brunel hung on, but Somodi got up for third. Kim and Buric in 4th and 5th. And just looking, it was slower than the previous heat. But another clean race. So you advance into the quarterfinals, and you're in that top 20. So just counting down here. So let's see. The results aren't official just yet. We'll see if we get the photo. And it's a tie! Wow! To the 1,000th of a second, Blunel and Fontana will both go through. This actually is not the first tie we've seen this weekend. Incredible. This sport never ceases to amaze, and they're the two qualifiers, and so it will be 21 skaters. The fans appreciating the rarity of that occasion. And so there will be 21 skaters in the quarterfinals this afternoon. And just sort of doing the calculations, so that means heat number 1, those who didn't qualify were 22, 23, 24, 25. And the 3 remaining are 26, 27, and 28. So that will mean interesting Olympic qualifying prospects, because they are all in the top 32. So we'll see how that all plays out. Now back to the men's 1,500 meters. 2 heats, and as promised, some interesting ones on offer. Niall Tracy, Felix Pigeon, Roberts Kreuzbergs, Hayashi Kosei, Li Wenlong, Yaroslav Morozov, Zhang Bohao, and Stefan Alexander Kumorjev.
Ready.
2 heats, 8 skaters in each, and I mean, you just look at Niall Tracy, Felix Pigeon, Roberts Kreuzbergs, and Hayashi. These are guys we often see in semifinals. Tracy may be more of a 1,000-meter specialist, but he certainly can get up there when it matters. And all those guys I just mentioned, Li Wenlong also back there, all in the back half of this field, really. It is Morozov on the front. Talking about him getting into this repechage semifinal. Haven't taken a look at where he or the Ukrainian positions are, but this will certainly help. Whether it's too little, too late, I'll let them calculate that after this race. But you never know, if he does get into a world tour, even better for the Ukrainian positions. And Hayashi making a move, Li Wenlong on the front, Morozov in front of him, and then there's a bit of a gap to Hayashi, but that is something he can skate into. And look out, here comes Zhang Bohao. Hayashi hears him and jumps around to get to the front. And then it's the 2 Chinese lungs, Tracy also getting around the outside. Can he get to the front? He does. Remember, each place, even if you don't qualify, counts for something. If you're one of those skaters on the fringes of the Olympic qualifying spots. Pigeon to 3rd. Hayashi on the inside. He goes through. And they will see 3 to go. Now it's really kicking off. Kreuzbergs sensing he's got to get forward. He goes in on Lee, who goes out wide. So it's Kreuzbergs up into 4th, behind Pigeon, behind Tracy, behind Hayashi. Pigeon now trying to make the move for 2nd. And he gets that one stick. Kreuzbergs up into 3rd. But Hayashi just driving it. He's letting the battles go out behind him, and he will take it, I believe. Pigeon made it close, though. So composed, so much happening behind him. And I don't know if he had a clue, but he at least made it look like he had no idea what was going on. He also has that look of, there was a small fist pump, but also the look of the work is not done yet. But when you beat a field like that in a repechage semi, I would imagine you're going to be quite primed for the big races to come this afternoon. Tracy was also up there for quite a bit, and so 4th for him. If we just look at, if you include the guys who advance out of the repechage semifinals, it would make 21 into the semis this afternoon. And just sort of looking on down, remember, top 36, and so based on time, you could be 22, 23, 24, so right up there a nice pad between yourself and 36th place. And so even though Pigeon, Kreuzberg's Tracy did not get out, lots of those guys would like their chances of getting those spots if they're already not secured. A good skate by Morozov as well, Kumorjev, some of those guys, younger guys looking to impress against some top talent. And of course, again, those guys have their own ranking to watch for Olympic qualifying. Heat number 2, don't change that dial. This one is also going to be a struggle. Liu Zhanshuo, Stephen Dubois, Liu Shucheng, Reynes Berzins, Miyata Shogo, Theo Collins, that man right there, Lucas Beckenhauser, and Daniel Abog. And what's interesting, Tyler's now taking over the job as researcher for a little bit. Miyata is in second in the discipline standings on World Tour in the 1500. Stephen Dubois, 6th. And it's a repechage semifinal.
Ready.
So something's going to have to give here. If only one of them goes through, it could be a big shakeup in the discipline standings. Liu Shucheng, Theo Collins, of course, those guys also, there is that eye on time. So there's, I've said it before, I'll say it again, so many things to watch for in this race. Crystal globe ramifications, medal ramifications, and then also those invaluable Olympic spots. Because if you come top 32 or top 36, your nation has well and truly earned them. If you watch this sport and know how unpredictable it is, just to get into those rankings is a massive, massive accomplishment. And it is Liu, and just a whole lot of horsepower behind him. Dubois, Miyata does tuck in ahead of Collins.
Well, Miyata Shogo's really stalking Stephen Dubois this race. You can see Stephen Dubois make that outside pass. Miyata Shogo just followed him like a shadow there, tucked into third, right behind Stephen Dubois when he slipped into second position. You can see the race plan of Miyata Shogo here. Keep Dubois in touch, look to strike at the finish.
Now Dubois goes. Lucas Beckenhauser has a long, long way to go. He's left it a little bit late, but he's getting his way up. But Collins is now in his way. And Collins for the lead. How much contact was that as that forced Dubois out wide? But Theo Collins in front right now. That review will get looked at. And it is Miyata behind him. Here comes Berzins. Everywhere you look, there's someone who can win this race on the ice.
What a jump.
Berzins, oh wow, for second. And what fight back is there from Miyata? He gets up into second, one man to go. He's trying to go around Collins, and he does. Miyata Shogo, what a composed race for him, and he has a gap as the battle unfolds behind him. Speckenhauser is down, but Miyata Shogo just watching the right battles. Yeah, I'd say so.
Well, the Ninjas just absolutely delivered in these repechage semifinals to qualify through. That looked like a clean skate from Miyata Shogo. Again, he was just shadowing Stephen Dubois throughout that race, waiting for his moment. Theo Collins jumped up the inside, bumped out Stephen Dubois. And again, Miyata Shogo stayed patient. Beautiful outside pass with one lap to go.
And this is what the first review is. Collins just getting late into that corner. That sort of forced Dubois out wide, so it lends to the possibility that if there is a penalty, that could be an advancement with Dubois on the front. And Miyata, this is the other one. Speckenhauser dove up the inside on Kreuzberg's and then went out. I'm not sure what contact there was there, but it might have just been a late pass where he just could not get the angle right on the ice, and that was the end result.
Yeah, and regardless of what the decision is for Theo Collins there, I thought he did skate that race really well. He gave himself a great opportunity. That was a very deep field. Had that pass been clean and he'd gotten to the lead, he skated it right. He attacked that race. You know, some things, you know, don't go your way, but he really gave himself a shot. I like the way he was skating, and he's looking like he's in great form.
And That heat was quicker than the first. But again, if you emerge from a repechage semifinal like that, you are primed to take on the other rivals, because there are some big guns in that race.
Well, just looking at some of the skaters in the repechage semifinals, we had Miyatashogo ranked second. We have Stephen Dubois ranked 6th. Roberts Kreuzbergs ranked 8th, all in just this event.
So that is the move. Possible late pass. It was minimal contact, but he just sort of did force him out wide, and then this is, in the end, Speckenhauser the only one going down, but Kreuzbergs was forced out wide, but that's not for an advancement position. We will head into our penultimate ice resurfacing break when we come back. Men's 500-meter repechage quarterfinals, and then another break, and then repechage semifinals. The ice resurfacer is back out.
The officials are reviewing a late pass by Theo Collins on Stephen Dubois there. And again, it's sometimes in those moments you're setting up that inside pass. You got to carry speed. You make the move, and it carries you a little bit further than you think. And then the next thing you know, you're diving up the inside of somebody you didn't intend to.
And as I've learned, it's the officials aren't swayed by a, I didn't mean to do that.
It's not what I wanted to do. I just wanted to go up one spot, not 3.
To the ice we go.
Final decision, penalty, number 56, Great Britain. Advancement, number 4, Canada. Penalty, number 17, Italy.
So there you go. So breaking that down, Theo Collins is penalized for going in on Stephen Dubois. You'll get a look at it right here. That means Dubois is advanced, as he was in the lead at the time. Illegal late pass.
You could just see the hands of Theo Collins coming up and, oh, whoops, wasn't expecting to be here, sorry. And then just push Stephen Dubois out wide.
And then the illegal late pass by Speckenhauser, but that was not in an advancement position, so nobody else gets advanced.
Just a bit of a last-second dive, looking just for anything to open up.
And so, 3 skaters out of 2 repechages. 2 Japanese ninjas go through as heat winners. Miyata joining Hayashi in the semifinals this afternoon, and so an advancement as well. That means there will be 22 skaters in the semifinals this afternoon when we get to the big show. And another ice resurfacing break coming right up. As you see, is moving on. And as I mentioned, on the other side of the break, men's 500-meter repechage quarterfinals. Then we'll do another break, and then repechage semifinals, and then that will wrap up the morning. The next competition will resume in about 14 minutes from now, so chance for another break. coming up to our penultimate block of racing on this Saturday morning repechage session in Dordrecht in the Netherlands. It's one event that will take us through the rest of the morning, the men's 500 meters. We have 4 repechage quarterfinals coming up, and then they'll do a quick resurface, allow those who qualify to get back into race mode, and then they'll do the 2 repechage semifinals, and then that will wrap things up. And then on the other side, of course, it is game time for the final time this season. The World Tour number 4 will begin in earnest. But heat number 1, I will say, looking at those hats, yes, I have had a Chocomel since I've been here, and yes, they are pretty tasty. Although I think we see their ads on the long track boards. Always open for them to get those up here too, and although that might not be a great thing if that involves free product, which I cannot resist myself. Either way, let's move on. Quarterfinal number 1, Shin Dong-min, Matsuzu Shuta, Luka Jasic, Daniel Abog, and Kyle Ross-Waddell. They'll go in this one.
Go to the start. Ready.
Matsuzu Shuta has largely been deployed as an out-and-out 500-meter specialist by the Japanese this season. He's had some good results. He actually turns 26 in just a few days' time, and here he is right up behind Shin Dong-min. A little wobble out of the corner by Matsuzu. Jasic trying to close it back up. And here comes Abog into 3rd, and a good move by Jasic into 2nd, and he makes that stick for now. No, he doesn't. And now it's 3 abreast as Matsuzu gets right up there. Abog did go in deep, but he does get up into 3rd. But Shin for the lead, for the win. Matsuzu number 2, and it will be a very good skate by Luka Jasic to get up into 3rd and give himself a chance.
Well, some very important races here. The White Tigers right now, their 2nd-ranked 500-meter skater sitting in position number 31. So they need some big results to ensure that they get at least 2 skaters representing the White Tigers at the Games for Korea. Following which, the Japanese are sitting 37th. Matsuzu's really looking to boost his team to maybe jump up to that top 32. So, as we've talked about, you've mentioned this morning, Gavin, just so much at stake here, even in these rep quarterfinal rounds, to move through these races.
There's the battle for 3rd. Jasic just knocking down the doors to get up into 3rd. And so he is a bubble time now, 42.385. Remember, maximum 2 of the 4 third-place times would move on. And we have had 1 clean race that, of course, gets pitched out the window if there are some advancements. And
Luka Jasic there was dealing with a lot of back and forth, a lot of passing. That really slows you down. That prevents you from just focusing on speed. So that kind of brings the time down. So I wouldn't be feeling too confident with that time right now. I expect it to be a little quicker. But of course, anything can happen here.
Here we go. Heat number 2, Mircea Zaksabayev, and then the 2 skaters ranked 9th and 10th in the world in this distance, Liu Xiaowang, Jordan Pierre-Gilles. And there's also Quentin Vercock and Peter Grosclose.
Ready.
Pierre-Gilles in an earlier race looked in good position, but then just had a few bumps near the end, and he'll try to go full 500 this time, but it's Liu Xiaowang off the start. And a nice move by Vercock to get into 2nd, and he is able to hold that position.
Well, Liu Xiaowang skating clean out front. Jordan Pierre-Gilles with some work to do from 3rd behind Vercock.
And Vercock has the ice maple right behind him, but not for long, and Pierre-Gilles.
Oh, Vercock loses his footing in the next corner. He's down as well.
And Vercock is down, and this is unexpected indeed. Liu wins. Peter Grosclose with the great skate could be moving on. And it is Pierre-Gilles who just caught on the back seat coming out of the corner, and then Vercock on the following corner.
That'll be so frustrating for Quentin Foucault. He had that lock there. He was clean in second. Jordan Pierre-Gilles had just got down, and sometimes that excitement just gets to you a little bit, and he goes off balance on the heels. We've seen relatively clean racing, not too many wipeouts, just of skaters going down on their own accord. However, in that race, we get 2 different instances.
And just looking at third place, Mercedes Zaksabayev, a 43.354, and so that is one time that is behind Jasic. We'll take a look here.
On that replay there, we just saw Jordan Pierre-Gilles with a nice quick inside pass, but that caused him to lose some speed. And here he just gets caught back on the heels and goes down. Then just on the following corner, watching Quentin Foucault, the right foot just breaks out, and then that just drops him back. He can't hold it. Hopefully that's not a sign of things to come for the ice conditions today.
We've seen that far corner on the first day cause some havoc. This was the time on the finish corner that it caused that. So 2 incidents, Lou and Grosclose. And how about Peter Grosclose moving into the repechage semifinals and keeping that hope alive for him?
Well, that's a really big result for Peter Grosclose, so he's going to be very happy with that. That's keeping him in the running. He's 38th right now for the Philippines, needing a big result. He gets to throw away his worst result, 116. He's a 31st and a 45th and a 31st. So that throwaway of a 116 up into the top, third now.
In another repechage semifinal, that will certainly put him in the mix. Heat number 3, there is Abzal Ashgaliev, there's Lorenzo Previtali, Oleg Hande, Wonjun Moon, and Lucas Koo.
Go to the start. Ready.
And out of position 1, ever important in the 500 meters, it's Ashgaliev. Previtali has Oleg Hande all over the rearview mirrors. Never count out Wonjun Moon or Lucas Koo.
Well, Ashgaliev going to a very nice speed track early. You can see he's comfortable, he's relaxed, arms on the back.
And Hande getting right up behind Previtali as Previtali closes in on the lead. 1 to go. Where's the move coming from? Hande trying to go around the outside on Previtali. Can he make that stick the dash to the line? I think Hande gets it. 4 second behind Ashgaliev, but that could come down to the photo. Ashgaliev, for sure, takes the heat, and then what might this hold?
What a finish from Ole Hande there to look around the outside, to go for it. It's so difficult to do when your legs are tired and fatiguing at the end of the 500 to gut that out on the outside. We're going to have to go to the photo finish. That was so close. I'm not willing to make a call on it, but wow. Well done, well done. I think Ole Hande's been looking for a bit of a breakthrough race this season on the World Tour, and that could be it here if he can catch this. Let's look, though. Previtali did a great job, though, fending him off as best he could. Who got the lunge? Looks like Previtali may have got the lunge first, even though Hande may have been slightly ahead.
This might be it. Let's see. And
oh, my goodness.
You'd think Previtali initially, and it's Hande.
He does get it.
12 thousandths of a second.
Well skated, well skated.
Wow. And it's all nothing to review other than the finish line. And that'll be a big fist pump for Hande into the repechage semifinals. What else lies in store? Some great racing. Heat number 4 as Brendan Corey in position 1. Mohamed Bozdag, Nico Anderman, Dennis Ors, and Tibor Komoricki. And so interesting that Dennis Ors, high top end speed, really in his element in the 500, but out of position 4. 2 Anatolian pars, the Slovenian Goldhorn, Austrian, and in position 1, Brendan Corey of the Australian Racing
Go
Roos.
to the start. Ready.
It's a good start by Anderman to jump up into second from position 3. Ors did jump ahead of his teammate Bozdag into third. And now he's just scything his way through his Dennis Ors.
So smooth.
But Corey is still off the front. You feel with Ors and his speed, he would have to make his move sooner rather than later, and here it is.
Ors is just moving so nicely through this field right now.
Komarichki, Anderman coming together, and then on Bosdag, a fantastic skate by Dennis Ors. His teammates trying to join him. Here comes Bosdag, but Corey has that endurance. Ooh, here comes Bosdag, but I think Corey hung on. Almost just took a little bit out wide, and as Bosdag hooked it, very nearly came up the inside, but a great skate by Dennis Ors.
Well, Dennis Ors was just carrying his speed so well that entire race. It was making those passes look effortless as he just floated by up the inside. What I really liked from Ors there in the last lap, he had the awareness that he had a little bit of a gap. He wasn't under pressure, so he maintained a wide speed entry in the last corner so he could build out, not allowing anyone to try to jump up on him. There's just that smooth inside pass there from Ors.
So just looking, the third place qualifying time. So we do end up getting both the third place times, and they came in the final two heats. Lorenzo Previtali with a 41.043 and Mohamed Bosdag with a 41.832. So Luki Jasic from heat number 1 does get shuffled out. That just sets the table for the repechage semifinals to come. You'll see who moves on first from this heat. Ors, Corey, Bosdag, all going through. And they will join. I might as well list them all. It's not that many. Lorenzo Previtali, Oleg Hande, Abzalish Galiev, Peter Grossklos, Liu Xiaowang, Matsuzu Shuta, and Shin Dong Min. And those two races, you don't have to wait long. They are coming up for us on the other side as you see the whole list of qualifiers who will be in the repechage semifinals. And so that comes up. I'll let Tyler.
Oh, I just recognized a stat I wanted to correct. Peter Grossklos, he's got a 33rd, 31st, and 45th. But this will move up his best result and throw away that 45th. So there's a lot of numbers on this sheet, and I picked out the wrong one earlier, so I wanted to make that correction.
Yes, if you saw it, you'd be seeing it's enough to make one go cross-eyed. So that's all good. Hey, you were correcting me yesterday, and so...
Yeah, self-correcting.
Attaboy.
You know, well, not perfect.
Well done. One final break to come. We resume, as you can see on your screen, at 11:40 a.m. local time, so that is just under 16 minutes from now.
Yeah, please.
Final two races of the morning here in Dordrecht. The same guys we just saw not too long ago. It is the men's 500-meter repechage semifinals. So 2 dashes, and then we head off into our lunch break to recover, rebuild, and get ready for the World Tour session this afternoon. The fans have already started piling. I might head out to the lobby in the entrance there where they've had a DJ going all weekend, and it might already be, the party might already be starting out there. Here's heat list, here's start list number 1. Liu Xiaowang, Oleg Hande, Lorenzo Previtali, Denisoros Matsuzu Shuta. So 1 skater will qualify on finish out of this one.
Ole Honda already getting some work done on the skates at the mats right there. Making sure everything's tight before he gets out there.
Exactly. I mean, he's a guy who goes in never afraid to make a move. Often that gets you into conflict. He's an animator, and sometimes that gets you into some bumps and scrapes, maybe just getting some preventative maintenance in hopes that maybe it'll stay away from it this time.
Well, it's not a lot of time to touch up your blades between these races. A very fast turnaround.
To the start. Ready.
Initially good jump by Previtali. Ors did not have the jump that he had last time. Now Previtali up the inside, but Liu knows how to lead from the front.
Well, Liu Xiaowang has really found his form this season. Looking so smooth, creating a bit of a gap on Previtali. He may intentionally be giving that gap up to accelerate into.
Hande kind of went up into the back of Previtali and lost some speed there. He's got to wind it back up. Previtali right in the mix here.
He's looking for it.
He's looking for it up the inside. It is not there. Liu defending well. Hande tries to get up for second and I think gets it.
He does.
So 40.93 for Liu Xiaowang. Clean racing, nothing getting reviewed. And you see Hande making the jump in the back of his mind clearly. Olympic spot, Olympic spot,
Yeah,
Olympic spot.
every place counts. Every position matters right now, even in these repechage semifinals. You gotta fight for every little bit you can. Try to get that qualification. I just want to say, Liu Xiaowang, when he's on, he's just so smooth. Smooth like butter out there when he's skating well. Never looks like he's under pressure, just looks so relaxed, so calm. He's just a beautiful skater to watch on the track.
And those results are confirmed. So Liu Xiaowang into the quarterfinals this afternoon. As you see the results. And heat number 2 has Abzal Ajgaliev out of position 1 of the Kazakh Nomads. Peter Grossklos, the lone Philippine Tamara, in position number 2. Shin Dong-min, the Korean White Tigers. Brendan Corey, the Australian Racing Roo. And Mohamed Bozdag, the Turkish Anatolian Par. Unlike the last heat, which you had Liu kind of well off and away in terms of ranking, ranked number 9. He showed it there. This one, there's a bit of a mix. So it's hard to pick one. You look at it, just about anyone. Ajgaliev, Shin can do it on his day. Corey, if it's a 500 that he can skate into, even Bozdag and Grossklos. And so we'll see what unfolds.
Well, Ajgaliev has the quick start. Peter Grossklos gonna have the ability to jump right on him. And then Shin Dong-min in third. I think he's, you know, I might be picking him as the favorite, but he's gonna have so much work to do from position number 3. It's gonna be a huge obstacle to overcome trying to win this start from that position. So I think it's gonna make for an entertaining race.
Well said. I assume you're gonna be right. They always are, it seems, in this one.
Go to the start. Ready.
And it is Ajgaliev with the quick start. Corey jumping from 4th into 3rd up the inside on Shin. There's a bit of a gap now between Ajgaliev and Grossklos. Remember, skating for 1 position in the quarterfinals this afternoon.
Well, Brendan Corey closing with some speed. Can he transition? He's got to look for any openings.
He has Shin also bearing down on him right now. Ashgaliev off the front. Corey taking a look at second. It's not there this time. And Corey and Shin both go out. I think they both.
There was no
lost
contact
edges.
there. Yeah, they both just sort of broke out at the same time on the same corner.
And that has become a bit of a bogey corner there. And Ashgaliev, all the while, the celebration on the line just ahead of Grosskloos. So we were watching that, and the race was still going on, of course. And so a couple results there. Ashgaliev will celebrate going into the repechage quarterfinals. Grosskloos will also celebrate a pretty good second place too. You know, when they factor out the calculations, that's a good shot for him based on his previous results in the 500.
Well, let's watch this corner here. I think this is the one where Brendan Corey just loses his footing, and then you see Shin Dong-min behind. You see the skater go down. You just kind of have that instinctual reaction, and that just sets you off. And then Shin Dong-min goes down as well.
He certainly likes that one. Big result for him to get into the quarterfinals of this afternoon. And you see the results right now.
Well, it's interesting how this might play out. So the position number 3 for Kazakhstan is way back in 47, but the results are 89, 74th, and 32nd. So you're throwing out an 89th, then you got a 32nd and a 74th, but now you're in the top 20. So how does that shake things up? There's points awarded for each position. The higher you are, the bigger the points. That could really change things here. So we let them figure out all those details, but it's a little fun side story, and I'm just gonna wait to watch and see when this list gets updated afterwards.
It'll be fun to see what the mathematics reveal in the end. And so that ends repechage Saturday morning. When we come back this afternoon, we have been warned that it is going to be something special to watch from the fans and, of course, from the skaters. And so you see the slate on your screen at 1:35 local time. That is about 1 hour and 50 minutes from now.
You are correct, Gavin.
There we go.
We got
all the confirmation
break.
I need. It is a healthy break, but we are going to need it. So until then, on behalf of Tyler Dare and everybody here, my name is Gavin Day. Talk to you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you.